Have you ever noticed someone who never asks for respect, yet everyone gives it to them? Someone who never seeks attention, but people focus on them the moment they walk in. They never try to prove their value, yet everyone believes they are important. What do they have that others don't? It's not money, because I've seen people with no wealth carry this power. It's not looks, because even average-looking people can capture the room with it. It's not intelligence either, because some of the smartest people I know are often ignored. What they have is something invisible, but so powerful that it changes every single interaction they experience. Here's what surprised me the most. This secret has been around for more than 500 years, hiding in plain sight. The great thinker Machiavelli once wrote that the most influential people in the world use this trait every single day, and yet 99% of people live their entire lives without even realizing it exists. Today, I'm going to reveal this hidden trait to you. I'll also show you exactly how you can start developing it right now. But let me warn you, once you discover it, nothing will feel the same again. Once you see this secret, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing who truly holds power and who is only pretending. You'll finally understand why some people get everything they want, while others are left with nothing. Now, I want you to write this affirmation in the comments. I choose to become the hidden force that shapes reality. Are you ready? Let's reveal Machiavelli's most dangerous secret. Number 1. The discovery of invisible power. You've been misled your entire life. You were told that power comes from being loud, aggressive, or demanding. But that's fake. Power. That's what weak people use when they're desperate to feel in control. Real power is different. Real power is quiet. It works in the shadows. It influences others without them even realizing they are being influenced. Think about the most powerful person you personally know. Not a celebrity, not a politician, but someone you have actually met. Do they scream for attention? Do they constantly brag about themselves? Do the most powerful people you know brag about their achievements? Do they try to dominate every conversation? I'm sure they don't. They have something else. Something that makes people naturally move toward them. Something that earns respect without asking for it. I call this invisible dominance. And it is the most unfair advantage a human can have. While everyone else is competing for attention, you will command it. While they fight to be heard, people will wait for your words. While they struggle to be taken seriously, you will automatically be respected. And here's the most shocking part. Nobody will even realize you're doing anything at all. Average people make a big mistake. They show everything: emotions, thoughts, plans, and weaknesses. It's like they're walking advertisements for their own vulnerabilities. Invisible dominance is different. It keeps people guessing. It forces others to work hard to understand you. It creates a magnetic mystery that pulls people closer while keeping you in control. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." This is the foundation of invisible dominance, controlling what people see while keeping your real power hidden. Most people think influence comes from being the loudest or biggest in the room, but that's amateur thinking. True influence is being the hidden force that no one notices until it's too late to resist. Now write this affirmation in the comments. Mystery is my strength. My silence is my weapon. Number 2. Why predictable people always lose. Let me break a belief that might be destroying your influence. Most people think being open and transparent makes them trustworthy, but actually, it makes them easy to control. If others can read your every emotion, predict your reactions, and know how you'll respond, they own you. You become their puppet. If everyone knows what you think, feel, and plan, then you have zero power. That's not being authentic. That's being foolish. Look at the people who always get what they want. Do they tell everyone their personal business? Do they react emotionally to every situation? Do they explain all their decisions to anyone who asks? Never. They keep their cards hidden. They share information strategically, not emotionally. They know that predictability destroys power. When someone knows how you'll react to criticism, they can use it against you. When they know what kind of praise makes you happy, they can control you with flattery. When they know your triggers, they can push those buttons anytime they want. Machiavelli once said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." But here's the deeper insight. You can measure someone's power by how much they keep hidden. Smart people treat information like gold. Weak people give it away for free, then wonder why they are used and ignored. Every time you overshare, you lose leverage. Every time you overreact, you lose respect. Every time you over-explain, you lose authority. The goal isn't to be mysterious for no reason. The goal is to be strategic about what you reveal, when you reveal it, and to whom. Information is currency. Every piece you give away is power you lose. Every emotion you show is a weapon others can use against you. Being unreadable is not about being fake. It's about being smart. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I am unreadable, unpredictable, and unstoppable. Number 3. The silent observer's secret weapon. Here's a truth that can change every conversation you ever have. The person asking the questions controls the conversation, not the one answering. Most people think talking more means contributing more. They believe silence means they are not adding value. So they rush to fill every quiet moment, because silence makes them uncomfortable. But this is their biggest mistake and your greatest advantage. While they are talking, you are learning. While they reveal their strategies, you discover their weaknesses. While they perform, you gather intelligence. Silent observation gives you powers that talkers never have. You begin to notice things others completely miss. You see the topics that make people uneasy. You hear the words that spark strong reactions. You detect the lies, the insecurities, and the hidden agendas. And the best part? People give you this information for free because they are too busy talking. People who talk too much don't even realize what they're giving away. But here's the smart part. You don't need to be antisocial. You can still engage. You can still contribute. The difference is, you do it with precision instead of impulse. You ask thoughtful questions that make people reveal more than they planned. You make sharp observations that show you're truly listening. You add insights at the perfect time, when they will have the most impact. But you don't overshare. You don't fill silence with nervous chatter. You don't feel pressured to have an opinion about everything. Machiavelli once said, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose, it is safer to be feared than loved." What he really meant is this: when people can't read you, they don't know whether to love you, fear you, or respect you. So they do all three. Every conversation becomes a game, and you're always ahead because you're playing strategically while others only react. People start seeking your advice because you listen deeply. They trust your judgment because you don't rush. They value your opinion because you don't waste words. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I speak with purpose, listen with power, and observe with advantage. Number 4, the scarcity power move. Here's a law of human psychology that most people ignore. Scarcity creates value. Availability destroys it. If you're always there for everyone, you blend into the background. If you say yes to everything, your yes becomes meaningless. If you reply instantly to every message, your attention loses its worth. You train people to take you for granted. But when you make yourself selectively available, something powerful happens. Your presence becomes meaningful. Your attention becomes valuable. Your time becomes precious. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding human nature. People value what is rare and ignore what is common. Think about gold. It's valuable because it's rare. Diamonds are precious because they're scarce. Masterpieces are priceless because they're unique. Your attention should work the same way. When you make yourself strategically scarce, people work harder to earn your time. Your presence becomes an event, not a routine. Your opinions carry weight because you don't give them freely. Machiavelli once said, "Men in general judge more by the sense of sight than by the sense of touch. For everyone can see, but few can truly feel." In other words, people judge your value by how easily they can access you. Make access too easy, and they will assume you are not valuable. Here's how it works. You don't answer every call right away. You respond when it fits your schedule. You don't accept every invitation. You choose the ones worth your time. You don't drop everything when someone demands attention. You give it when you decide it matters. This forces people to respect you instead of expecting you. It makes your presence a privilege, not a right. When you show up, people notice. When you contribute, it matters. When you engage, everyone listens, because they know you don't waste your energy on trivial things. Your scarcity becomes your strength. Your selectivity becomes your power. Now write this affirmation in the comments. My time is precious. My presence is powerful. Number 5. Strategic presence mastery. Most people think being present means showing up everywhere, joining everything, and having an opinion on every topic. They attend every event, join every conversation, and try to involve themselves in every decision. They believe more presence equals more influence. They're completely wrong. Strategic presence isn't about being everywhere. It's about being in the right place, at the right time, with the right impact. When you master this, you don't just attend events. You become the event people remember. Here's the difference. Random presence makes you forgettable. Strategic presence makes you unforgettable. Instead of joining every discussion, you pick the ones that matter. Instead of attending every gathering, you choose where your presence creates the most impact. Instead of speaking all the time, you speak when your words will echo the loudest. This requires discipline that most people lack. It means saying no to good opportunities so you can dominate the great ones. It means missing some moments so the moments you choose become legendary. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves." Strategic presence is knowing when to be the watchful fox, and when to be the commanding lion. Sometimes the smartest move is to stay invisible, watching and learning. Other times, the right move is to step forward and take control. The power comes from reading situations perfectly and responding with precision. When you appear strategically, the energy shifts. When you speak strategically, your words stay long after you stop talking. When you act strategically, the results follow. But when you are everywhere, all the time, you just fade into the scenery. When you talk endlessly, your words lose their meaning. When you react to everything, people stop taking you seriously. Strategic presence also means knowing when to leave. The person who exits a conversation at the right time leaves the strongest impression. You want people wishing you had stayed longer, not wondering when you'll finally leave. Write this affirmation in the comments. I choose my moments control my presence. Number 6. Emotional control mastery. This is where most people lose the game. They let others control their emotions, and then those emotions control their actions. Every day, people try to manipulate you. They use praise to lower your guard. They use criticism to make you defensive. They use pressure to rush your decisions. They use flattery to make you careless. If you react emotionally to these tactics, you lose. They win. Emotional mastery is not about being cold or emotionless. It's about feeling everything but responding only when it serves your goals. When someone insults you, feel the anger. But don't show it unless it gives you an advantage. When someone flatters you, enjoy it. But don't become addicted to their validation. When someone pressures you, notice their urgency, but don't let it push you into mistakes. Your emotions are signals, not commands. Most people confuse being authentic with being reactive. They think expressing every feeling right away makes them honest. But in truth, it makes them predictable and easy to control. Machiavelli once said, "Whoever wishes to foresee the future must consult the past, for human events always resemble those of earlier times. The pattern never changes, and the pattern is clear. Emotional people get controlled. Controlled people hold the power." Here's how it works in real life. Someone tries to anger you, so you'll say something they can use against you later. Instead of taking the bait, you pause, think, and respond strategically, or stay silent. Someone creates fake urgency to trap you in a poor decision. Instead of panicking, you ignore their timeline and take the time to decide correctly. Someone uses guilt or fear to push you. Instead of falling for it, you recognize the manipulation. Weigh your options and choose what benefits you. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you powerful. When chaos erupts and you remain calm, people look to you for leadership. When others panic and you stay rational, they trust your judgment. When emotions run high and you stay in control, you become the solution. Number 7, the power of strategic silence. Silence is one of the strongest weapons most people never use. Why? Because they're afraid of it. They think silence means they're not adding value. They think quiet moments are awkward. They believe if they're not speaking, they're invisible. They're wrong. Strategic silence is more powerful than any words in E. Give space for others to reveal their real thoughts. It builds tension so your words hit harder when you finally speak. It shows a confidence that endless talking never can. But remember, there's a difference between awkward silence and strategic silence. Random silence makes you look uncomfortable. Strategic silence makes you look powerful. When should you use it? After making an important point. Let it sink in instead of rushing to explain it. When someone asks a tricky question, pause, think, and then answer on your own terms. When tensions are high and people talk over each other, your silence makes you stand out. When someone pressures you to decide quickly, silence gives you time and often forces them to reveal their real motives. Machiavelli once said, "Never was anything great achieved without danger." And silence feels dangerous, but that's why it works. It requires courage. The beautiful part is this. Most people can't handle silence. They'll fill it with nervous chatter. They'll reveal their weaknesses. They'll expose their strategies. They'll give away information you never asked for, all just to avoid quiet. This is pure gold for you. While they talk, you listen. While they reveal, you calculate. While they get nervous, you gain more control. Silence also forces people to value your attention. When they know you won't react to everything, they choose their words more carefully. Your words become events instead of noise. When you finally speak, people lean in. They listen closely. They remember what you said, because your voice cuts through the clutter. Now write this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks volumes. My words carry weight. My presence commands respect. Number 8. Never reveal everything you can do. Here's a mistake that destroys more opportunities than most people realize. They show all their abilities too soon. Many people think showing all their abilities at once builds credibility. They think proving their full potential shows value. They believe transparency equals trust. But this approach destroys your power. When you reveal everything up front, you kill mystery, remove intrigue, and give others the chance to counter your strengths. You become predictable, and predictable means controllable. Smart people reveal their skills step by step. They always keep something hidden in reserve. They know mystery creates power, while complete openness destroys it. This rule applies to everything: your skills, your resources, your knowledge, your network. Never show your full hand in the first meeting. Never display your entire skill set unless it's necessary. Never share everything you know just to impress people. Instead, give people just enough to stay interested, but never enough to fully measure your potential. Machiavelli once said, "He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done sooner affects his ruin than his preservation." Most people think being fully open makes them strong. In reality, it ruins their position. Keeping some power hidden helps you in many ways. It lets you surprise people when they underestimate you. It gives you flexibility to adapt to new situations. It stops others from preparing countermoves. It keeps people curious and engaged with you. Important point: you're not being dishonest, you're being strategic. You answer questions truthfully, but you don't volunteer unnecessary information. You show competence, but not your full arsenal unless the moment demands it. This works everywhere. People cannot copy what they don't know about. They can't use against you what you haven't revealed. They can't take you for granted when they're still discovering your depth. Your hidden abilities become secret weapons. Your unseen knowledge becomes strategic advantage. Your unrevealed resources become your insurance. People respect what they see, but they're fascinated by what they can't see. And fascination builds influence. Influence creates power. Number 9. Creating uncertainty that works for you. Here's a psychological principle that gives you massive leverage. People make mistakes when they are uncertain. Powerful people stay certain themselves while creating uncertainty in others. When people can't predict your next move, they question their own strategies. When they can't read your intentions, they act more cautiously. When they don't know where they stand with you, they work harder to earn your approval. This isn't about being difficult. It's about understanding human nature. Certainty makes people lazy. Uncertainty keeps them sharp. Think about it. When someone is fully predictable, others stop trying. There's no mystery, no challenge, no excitement. But when someone keeps you guessing in smart, positive ways, you stay invested. This applies to all relationships. If people know exactly how you'll react every time, they stop respecting your reactions. If they can predict your moves, they can manipulate you. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But here's the deeper truth. It is even better to be unpredictable. Why? Because unpredictability demands respect. How do you create this kind of uncertainty? Sometimes respond fast, sometimes take your time. Don't be random. Be strategic. React quickly when speed gives you an advantage. Delay when patience makes you stronger. Change your emotional temperature wisely. Sometimes warm, sometimes cooler. People value your warmth more when they can't take it for granted. Don't always be available. Have real priorities that sometimes come first. Mix your decision-making timeline. Sometimes decide fast. Sometimes take longer. This keeps people engaged and attentive. The goal isn't to create anxiety. The goal is to create curiosity and interest. Now write this affirmation in the comments. I am predictable in my values, unpredictable in my methods. Number 10. Becoming the hidden force. Now comes the real work. Becoming someone who operates with invisible dominance, not just someone who understands it. This transformation isn't about changing your personality. It's about upgrading your strategy. You're not becoming someone else. You're becoming the most powerful version of yourself. Step 1. Remove 3 habits that destroy your influence. Eliminate the need for constant validation. Stop chasing approval everywhere. Your worth isn't defined by people's opinions. Seeking their approval makes you weak and predictable. Eliminate the urge to stop over-explaining. When you make a decision, you don't need to justify it to everyone. When you set a boundary, you don't need to apologize. When you say no, no is enough. Stop reacting emotionally. Feel your emotions, process them privately, then respond with strategy. Your first. Emotional impulse is rarely your best move. Machiavelli once said, "The best fortress which a prince can possess is the affection of the people." But in reality, your best fortress is self-control, because no one can manipulate what they cannot predict or control. Now build new habits. Pause before responding to anything important. This gives you time to think clearly and respond with strategy, not emotion. It also makes your response feel heavier, more impactful. Ask questions instead of just making statements. Questions give you information and control the flow of the conversation. Statements only reveal your position. Be selectively available. Your time and attention should be earned through respect, not expected through convenience. Speak with precision. Every word should matter. Remove filler words, unnecessary explanations, and attention-seeking comments. The goal is simple. Become someone who influences situations without people realizing how much control you have. Be the person others look to for leadership without demanding it. Be the one whose opinion carries weight without arguing for it. Be the one whose presence changes the room without announcing yourself. This is invisible dominance in action. Maximum influence with minimum effort. Maximum respect with minimum drama. Maximum power with minimum resistance. Here's the truth you must remember. Real power works in shadows. Fake power lives in spotlights. While others chase attention, you build real influence. While others scream for respect, you earn it quietly. While others try to control people, you control situations. This hidden trait isn't a gift you're born with. It's a skill you develop. It's not personality, it's strategy. And like any skill, it gets stronger every time you use it. Every day gives you chances to practice invisible dominance. Every conversation is a chance to listen more and reveal less. Every decision is a chance to act strategically instead of emotionally. Every interaction is a chance to show the power of being unreadable. Start today. In your next conversation, don't try to impress, try to understand. Instead of filling silence, use it strategically. Instead of reacting to others, control your own energy. Most people will never understand this. They're too busy trying to be noticed to realize that the most powerful people operate in the shadows. They're too focused on being heard to realize that true influence comes from strategic listening. But you're different now. You know that. Mystery is strength. Silence is power. Invisible dominance is the ultimate advantage. The world is full of people demanding attention and respect. Be the one who earns both without asking. Be the hidden force that shapes reality. If this message changed the way you think about power and influence, share it with someone who needs it. And remember this final truth. The most dangerous person in any room is the one everyone underestimates, because no one can read them, predict them, or control them. Now, drop this last affirmation in the comments. I'm the hidden force that shapes my reality through invisible dominance and strategic action. Go and become unstoppable.